Five, four, three, two, one.
Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, 815.
There goes Matt, and there goes Whitney, and now we're gonna reset you in the big screen. There we go. And I think I have a logo for you, Whitney. Let's see how that looks.
Wow.
Put that one more spot so we can't block your face there too. So all right,
You know
shift
what?
over.
You can here. Do you want me to move over a little bit?
Over just a little bit more.
Do you
Look
know
at
what's
us.
funny, guys? What cracks me up? So this painting behind me, my condo was struck by lightning. It was like, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago. 2 lightning strikes in Rockford, and one hit my direct condo. Anyway, this fell off the wall, and when I had posted it on Facebook about the lightning strike, everybody was like, "That is the ugliest artwork I've ever seen." Like nobody cared about the lightning strike. They're like, what is that? Why was that hanging in the first
It's an
place?"
abstract. Leave me alone.
You know, we just had to get something to match. So
That's
That
right.
was
but yeah,
Sawyer's
good
kindergarten
morning.
project, right?
It pretty much. I made it one day and it shouldn't be up there.
You know,
Art
okay,
is art.
it looks like a paint by numbers. Can we get you some little paintbrushes and all that, and you just kind
You
of paint it in?
know, I'm just going to say that my 6-year-old did it and it's from his schoolwork, you know?
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be very, very basic today, Whitney. We're
Sure.
gonna pretend that no one in Rockford has ever met you before.
Okay.
And so we're starting from scratch. So where did Whitney Martin grow up and go to school? And a
Sure.
little bit of a career arc which led you to Made for Rockford. So let's start
All
there.
right. So grew up in the Rolling Green neighborhood, very similar to Matt in the rough streets of Rockton. You know, it was the neighborhood where you could go and I just was telling somebody you would sell like your little wrapping paper and things, and you would be in someone's house selling, and your mom wouldn't know where you were, but it was just the time in the 90s where they call you for dinner, and then all the kids come home, and you just all the neighbors looked out for each other. So the best neighborhood I could possibly grow up in, right down the street from Rolling Green. I went there through elementary school, went to Lincoln Middle School, and then was an East ERAB. Once an ERAB, always an ERAB. So East
Yeah.
ERAB.
Red and black forever.
Forever. Although someone
East,
just sent
red,
me a
and black.
picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's from a game.
By the way, not to interrupt, I went to
No, you're
school
fine.
in Lincoln as well. I hated that school. Oh God, I hated that
Sorry.
school.
Why?
Because 12-year-old Tommy, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever I was, had a really miserable 7th and 8th. It was 7th and 8th grade
Aw.
back when I went there. It was just tough. You know, I'm youngest
Yeah.
of 4. I had all my brother's hand-me-downs and everything else. And it was just a horrible, horrible experience for 2 years for me. Jefferson High
Yeah.
School was a pretty good experience. That's where I went. I'm a J.
Tom was the baby of his family. I'm the oldest of 2. Where do you fall in, Whitney?
I'm the middle.
You're the middle. Look at
Yes.
us. We're the perfect sibling.
We are. This is
right
a good
here.
group right here. I'll get a text
So
from my mom on.
you're the 5th of 9 kids?
Yes.
There you go.
2 sisters.
Oh,
Right in the
okay.
middle.
I know your younger sister, right? But I don't think I know your older sister.
Corey. So her name is Corey. She actually teaches Zumba at every
I know
facility.
Corey.
Oh, she's my older.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's a compliment for
Taylor's in.
Corey. I thought she was younger than you.
Wow.
I don't
No
wanna take
offense.
that. Whoa.
No offense, Whitney. I mean, geez.
You're all young.
Wow.
You're all young looking. Well, I shouldn't say all because I don't know your other sister.
Yeah.
Maybe I do. I don't know.
She's in Houston. So part of my
Okay.
Made for Rockford, which I'll get into, I got to get her back here. You know, she's not
There you
helping
go.
the cause. So
We just found some motivation, Tom. Why she does what she does, getting the sister from Houston to come back to Rockford.
She's working down there, made for Houston.
that's
Yeah. So
we're
hey,
competing.
yeah, you're competing. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, went to East High School. You know, at the end of the year, they come to you and they say, or back then, now it's different with the career academies, which I love, but they'll come to you and say, well, what do you want to do? And you have that moment. And it was honestly senior year where I'm like, do I want to join the Air Force? I'm thinking of all these things because you have all the recruiters coming in. And I just knew I wanted to do something in radio. That was number one. And so when I got out of school, I went to a broadcasting school out of Lombard, Illinois Center for Broadcasting. The goal was radio. Ended up, though, taking an internship at a TV station instead of a radio station. and then fell in love with that. So
Cool.
just kind of quickly was an intern back in 2007 and no 2005, and then was a photographer, a reporter, weekend anchor, main anchor, just kind of you work kind of go up the ladder. So
Right.
but I remember starting and they said, "Get your feet off there. That's a desk now." And that was my corner where I got to go. Like, thanks for making space for me. But
Wow.
it was very difficult to get in at the time. After the internship, I say resume tapes because it was literally the VHS tapes, and I probably sent WIFR 10 of them. I got to the point where I was like, I want to stand. So they have the East State Street camera, and it's right, at East State and Perryville, and they would take a weather shot there. And I was at the point, and again, this is like, 2005, where I was going to stand underneath it and say, please hire me with a sign.
Oh,
So when
jeez.
the meteorologist took the camera, I would be under there and saying, like, hire me because I wasn't getting calls back. And then,
You just gave
uh,
someone a really good idea, Whitney.
I know. I was thinking of everything. I was thinking of the box trick where you get a big box and then you just you keep opening little ones until you get to your resume, and just was not getting calls. So I was getting to that point. I was working in a nursing home and I did activities. So like the sitter size classes is best job. I miss it. But I was like, I put a 2 week in, and you put a 2 week in when you're living at home, and you can put a 2 week in without having a job at the time, where that's appropriate. And I said, no, I really want to, pursue something in TV, and, this is the route I want to go. And then I ended up within the 2 weeks randomly getting a call from both TV stations. WTVO had called, and then also WIFR, and I ended up being a photographer at WIFR, and then just working my
Okay.
way up. But
Okay.
that was a time where you had fire pagers that you have to sleep with next to your head. And so there were nights where if somebody was committing arson or something, I would be out with my camera gear coming back home. I mean, it was a photographer boot camp, unlike anything.
Yeah.
So
That is so cool.
setting up the live trucks, I would have to go in the wintertime, the mast would freeze. And so I'd have to climb to the top and like knock the ice off. You earn your spot.
You get
I'll
that
say that.
de-icer spray or something to
No.
spray on there.
Be in the middle of nowhere, just like up on top of this live truck.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I have a
so-
story about that.
Do you?
When I was in radio here in Rockford at WQFL, we had a converted blood bank bus that we turned into a broadcast bus.
Oh my god.
And our engineer mounted the mast in the back part of the closet of the bus so it would hydraulically go up and then come back down. I did a broadcast down at Carpenter's Place, downtown Rockford. And when I was driving back to the station in Loves Park, I had brought the mast down, but apparently I didn't. You were supposed to open the hydraulic thing and leave it open so that it stayed, when it came down, it stayed
Yeah.
down. Apparently I didn't leave it open. It must have got tightened back up. So as I'm driving north on Forest Hills, the mast starts going up.
No.
And apparently it caught a power line on the way and ripped off the top of the mast. And I didn't know it. I went all the way back to the station with a busted mast. And
You're the
am
reason we have those
so-
videos, the warning videos that we have to watch. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
somebody found the mast laying on Forest Hills Road and put it in their yard and put a birdhouse on top of it. So apparently that's still, I don't know if it still exists out there or not, but that's
Wow.
the story that I
Dude,
heard.
I'm
Oh
surprised you
my
didn't get
God.
electrocuted.
Right? Yeah. Well,
Oh my,
Praise to
yeah, the
God.
electrocution is, yeah. So they let you keep your job?
yeah. Yeah. Well, somebody else who shouldn't be named, Jim, took the bus, and actually it's got those air conditioning units on top, and he went underneath a thing that was too low and smashed one of those air conditioning units to pieces. So he was my boss. So
Oh my, they're hard. There's no back window. I mean, I'll tell you now, I'm
Right.
far removed from it, where I was at a school board meeting, and I backed it up on top of a car at a school board meeting, the whole live truck. So, I mean, it's, I could say it now because a long time ago, but it's
Yeah,
hard to
wow.
drive those things. I should
It's-
not have been in
yeah.
that position.
Beep,
Don't
beep,
don't
beep.
don't forget your other don't forget your other place, Whitney. You worked here as well.
I did. Yep. So then, yeah, it was not. So I actually I was at WIFR for 10 years. Worked my way up to main anchor with Mike Garrigan, who's one of my favorite people in this world. Let me just tell
Good
you.
guy, very good guy.
The best. And you know what? I was like, why is he the best? And he introduces people, and this is where I started to kind of notice. where he won't say like, "Oh, this is Megan." He'll say, "Oh, this is Megan. She's the best editor that we have at our station." He introduces people by their best traits, and it's like,
Mm.
but he means everything he says. And I can tell you, in the 10 years that I worked with him, he encouraged me the entire time. And like, you don't always see that in this industry. You guys
I'm
know
so
that.
glad he stayed in Rockford.
Me
I'm so
too.
glad. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause he
So
could have gone
just
somewhere else. So kudos to Mike.
great
We
guy
had him on
and
our
great
sports
crew.
show. We had him on our sports show many times, and I mean, I thought I knew a lot about sports. Mike
Oh
is
yeah.
if I'm a 10 on sports, he's about a 55 on sports.
He
I
the
don't
way
even know
he
if the
can
math works out there, but he just knows everything.
he retains everything, and he just has a gift for that. But I can go on and on about him. So leaving there was really hard because of Mark and Mike. They're great people, and I had the best experience at WIFR. Just kind of grew up there, and then was time for something else. And there was an opening in Milwaukee at the CBS station. It was a morning show spot, and Mike Kirkhoff, who was a sports anchor, as you know, it's small world in media, was the morning anchor there. And so I ended up taking a job there for mornings, and then commuted for the last. So I was there about 2.5 years. The last year and a half, I was commuting. So 3 hours in the
Long,
car,
it's a long drive.
1:30 in the morning, over on 43. So.
Mm.
Wow,
Rough
lonely
ride.
though. A nice drive, but
Smooth
1:30 in the
ride.
morning.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't pass a car, I think, the entire time at 1:30 in the morning. But had my son, and then, wanted to come back. Right now I'm 4 doors down from my parents. And as you know, when you have kids, you need to be around family. And I
Yeah.
really did feel like I was driving. It wasn't fair to viewers in Milwaukee because my community is here. So I
Mhm.
was driving in, anchoring the news toward the end, and then coming back to a community that wasn't within Wisconsin. It just didn't feel right. Like this is my community.
Yeah.
So then came back and then took an assistant news director, morning anchor job with, of course, WTVO, which is ABC Fox affiliate. And those hours are rough. Couldn't do
Mhm.
it anymore. So they're
Yeah.
2 a.m., when you have a 6-year-old, just wasn't working toward the end. I laugh when people ask like, "Why'd you leave?" I'm like, it was killing me toward the end. And
Hmm. Yeah.
I think people regret when they ask me that, because I start going on and on. Loved the job. Was taking a toll on me though. I could feel the lack of sleep. I mean, you guys know with any morning show, it
Oh yeah.
impacts you.
For a number
Mhm.
of years, I did the morning show at ROK. I was a producer, and getting up at 3:15, out the door by
Hmm.
3:45, and in there, not far from the station,
Yeah.
started carting up stuff. And some of these, and you know this as well. All of us know this. All these news agencies that were supposed to send us morning show stuff. Like we
Yes.
had Rush Limbaugh, the 60-second Rush Limbaugh blurb, the Sean Hannity blurb. They wouldn't come.
Hmm.
I'm like, come on, it's 4:35.
Yes.
I still gotta get the news together and splice in the weather and the sports, and oh, I hated that.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
it
hated
is
that.
stressful. And we're
It
same
can
thing.
be.
Like we would wait for stuff from the affiliates, or I'd be on the other end trying to get the radio station stuff when are under the gun, and the last thing, I got to the point where I'm like, it's 3 in the morning and I'm gluing eyelashes on, and I'm like, this isn't this, the news side of it, the journalism side of it, my heart will always be there. But I just, it was just time. Like it didn't feel right anymore. And so I was looking at other positions. Some were outside the community. And it's hard when you've been in something for 20 years and you think, what am I going to do next? Especially when you've enjoyed your time. I've always liked my jobs, even nursing home, whatever it was. So I wanted to take something that was going to love.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at stuff outside the area just because that was naturally what I was seeing. And I thought, I'm like, maybe I want to do something with marketing. That's usually where we go after news, That's where we all end up.
Right.
Or maybe sales. But if I'm going to sell something, like what would I want to sell? And it's the city. I always joke about this, but I worked at Lone Star for a week. And the one thing that they taught me was that if you don't like something on the menu and you try to sell it at a table, they're going to see it on your face. So you have to
Uh-huh.
believe in what you're selling.
Mhm.
So, and I'm going on. Please interrupt me at a time. But
No, no, this is very good. This is very good.
okay,
This is
I'm
what
like,
we're after.
it's
This is
the
what we're
Celsius
after.
clicking in here too. Um, so I reached out to John with Go Rockford, the CEO, John Grow. And we had a working relationship, and I always kind of had watched what Go Rockford had done as we covered it. And So there was nothing, no job openings or anything like that. But I thought, well, maybe you could point me in the right direction. And so we went, we had lunch, and I kind of described what I was looking for. And he said, we actually have this program that we've been working on. It's called Made for Rockford. And so what Made for Rockford was, before I came there, um, it was basically they had talked to all of these recruiters who said, we want to be able to sell Rockford to these applicants coming in, right? So if you do a Google search, maybe you're going to do that search on your own and you're going to find news stories that pop up, but it's not a true reflection of what our community has to offer. And so I am kind of that intervention between the Google search where I can kind of intervene and tell people about all the wonderful things that we have here. So the Made for Rockford program, what you're seeing right there is the website. There's actually a cost of living calculator on there. And so if you have a job applicant who comes or anybody who's looking at our city, they can go on there, they can compare the cost of living, which is really our selling point here, right? We're 24.7% lower than the national
Mhm.
average. And you can see that in the milk prices, gas prices, all on the website.
This is great. This is
So
so
another
true.
thing, no, it's an amazing tool. Another thing that I do is I work with recruiters at our major employers, and I'll give tours of Rockford. So I had a physician that came during the holidays, and she said, "Hey, I'm in Rockford. I'm looking at a job here. Someone told me to call you." She goes, "If you're busy, it's fine." She said, "I'll just look on Google and I'll just kind of explore on my own." I said, "What hotel are you at? I'm coming right now." you know. So I went to the hotel, I picked her up, gave her a tour of Rockford, showed her the neighborhoods. Everybody's in a different situation, so that we have something to offer for everybody. So you can show them every neighborhood or what would fit within what they need. But I'll customize the tours. So if they have kids who are in sports, I can then show them sports teams here and show them what that transition would look like. We do mixers. So we just had a mixer at Embassy Suites with 60 people from the area who are brand new, and they're all connecting at the end of the night. They're exchanging phone numbers, and that to me is a tangible way to see the program working because they came from everywhere. Some saw it at a U-Haul place where I dropped a flyer. Some are seeing it at coffee shops or through the health systems that will send them out. And so the need for connection is here. And so I'm trying to bring people together so they're not just clocking in every day, that they're able to enjoy the community. Because we have so many things to offer. Like think about when somebody says they're new here, the excitement in your voice, right? When they ask for recommendations. It's kind of
Mhm.
that's my 9 to 5.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And this website is really something special to share with people that maybe have moved away and have been gone for 10 or 15 or 20 years. And they're like, yeah, because unless you have family here, you might
Mhm.
not think of coming back here. Right. That's the boomerang thing that's on this
Yeah.
website and such. But there are those who don't have family here that have like, you know what? Rockford really was a great place to live, and here's all the reasons why. It's on the website.
Well, it's so funny. I laugh because I'm like, am I wearing like a button or something that says new here? Because or new here, come talk to me. Yesterday I was at Disco Chicken and I was sitting I was having lunch and I brought my laptop down. I was like, I'm gonna work from here for a little bit. And this couple sits next to me and the man looked over and he goes, "Have you been here before?" I said, too often. But he said, "We're new here. We just moved here." And sits directly there. And I said, "Oh," so we ended up, I mean, truthfully, you kind of share booths there. We just
Yeah.
all kind of sat and had lunch together. And I was able to, show them all the cool things that we have. I was at Chipotle. I mean, I go out a lot, but I was at Chipotle. Don't look at my, bank account. But like months ago, and there was a lady who came up to me and she said, I'm just like getting a drink. And she goes, "I like your nails." And I said, "Thank you." She said, "I'm new here. I just moved here." So I feel like the connections that are being made, I mean, it really is just people that you're seeing out. Those are most of them, and they want that connection, or they wouldn't be coming up, or they would.
It's
So,
all over your
yeah. So
face, Whitney. It's just all over your face that says, "Talk to me if you're new here."
come talk to me. So I laugh, when I had those interactions. Another thing that I'm creating right now is a portal system. So that's for recruiters to go in. They can get new pictures, videos of Rockford, facts about the schools, where they'll have a login and they get right in there. And it's exciting. I'm building these collections of photos right now. And when you look at all of it, we live in an amazing place. And I
Yeah.
feel like everything that, all of these photos that are in these categories, it's just like family fun or live music. We live in an amazing place, and it's a very easy sell for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is so much to choose from here to do, to experience and enjoy. It's just, and like this slide up here that talks about um, where we are in,
Yes.
so Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, anything that we might not have on a given weekend, it's in one of the cities that's an easy drive.
It is. I just posted on LinkedIn. I got a bunch of eye rolls. They said, "Oh, this is so cringe," for a couple of my friends. I mean this though. I went to a Justin Timberlake concert in Milwaukee last weekend, right? And it was $150 for the tickets. We had great seats, ended up going. And then you get in your car, you drive right back to our community that night, an easy drive, like we say on 43. And you have all of these things. We could not be in a better location. Same with air travel. You know what I mean? We've got O'Hare, we've got Milwaukee, we've got the Rockford Airport. So that couple that I told you about, they have no ties to Rockford, who I met yesterday. They randomly wanted cheaper housing. They have a beautiful home. And they said they felt like they were taking a risk by coming here because they
I'm
were
playing
kind
with the
of doing
screen.
the,
I'm sorry.
oh, you're fine. I'm like looking, I'm like,
I'm
Yeah,
trying to find the
she's-
best.
She's getting her exercise this morning.
super flattering.
This is a restream test. This is a restream test. What's going to look good?
Hey.
There we go.
Greg, can you get my good side?
I'm like, oh, remember
once
these days?
once you figure out your good side, let me know. Tom.
Oh, hey,
Oh.
thank
It's
you.
taken
I'm
me
here all
20
week.
years. Still don't have one. But yeah, they had no connection to Rockford, and they felt like they were taking a risk by the Google searches when they came here. And now that they're here, they love every bit of it. They're near the city market on Fridays. Their home is just gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. And so they felt like they were taking a risk, and now that they're here, they're happy that they're here. And those are the success stories, and we want to see more of them. It's also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, you're kind of inspiring me because you are exactly correct. And I've thought about a lot of these things too, but sometimes we get in our own little shell or our own little world. We
Yeah.
don't think about all those different things we can do. For crying out loud, you don't have to drive here, there, and everywhere else to enjoy
Yeah.
stuff because we do have it here. I mean, my goodness, you can only fill so much in your basket anyway. So, I mean, yeah, okay, if you want baseball, you can go watch the Rockford Rivets.
Yeah.
You want hockey, you can go see the Ice Hogs. Now, if you want football, well, you'd have to go to Green Bay because Illinois doesn't have a football team, but,
Right.
whatever.
Pretty much.
Hey. Anyway, but it is truly all right here. I mean, we do have, we're an aggregate of 250,000 people when you take all of Winnebago,
Winnebago County. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
and
big.
one thing I'm learning, and especially as I'm meeting new people, like I said, the new people at the mixers, when the new people coming in they appreciate the community so much, and everything we have to offer. I need to figure out a way, and maybe us as a community, not really on me. It's the Rockford haters, the people who have been here for so long, that we want to make sure aren't hating on our community because I feel like that I'm combating that more than anything, because the people who are new,
Yeah.
who are coming here, love everything they're seeing. It's the people who've been here for a long time where we need to shift that mindset, because it's almost like having a toxic person inside a workplace, right? That affects the community when you have that one person who's speaking negatively. We have our challenges. I can tell you again, decades in news, and I will never deny that. But I also feel like we're at a point where the challenges that we have, there's somebody coming in trying to find solutions for all of them. These aren't
Yeah.
problems that are just sitting here. So it's easy to talk about them and to see the hope or the light.
I go back to the conversation that we had with Matt earlier in this podcast, because we were talking about social media and just the number of things that get thrown at you and the comparisons and all this stuff. And that's where we have to teach ourselves and our kids and our significant others and such, there are so many voices on social media.
Mhm.
If you choose, you're going to choose what you focus on. And
Yes.
if you focus on the negative comments, you're going to see them everywhere. It's the same thing when you buy a new car. I didn't realize how many Jeep Renegades there are till I bought my wife a Jeep Renegade. They're everywhere. Okay. And now when we travel anywhere, we see Jeep Renegades all over Rockford, and we never
Yes.
saw them before.
Right.
It's the same way with our social media stuff. If you're seeking out the positive, that's there too. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to encourage everyone within the sound of my voice, please follow our InCrowd 815 social media on Instagram and Facebook and such. I make it a very, very strong goal every day to post positive things, uplifting things, not just about Rockford, but about life. so that people are saying, oh yeah, okay, it might be a little tough today, but you know what, tomorrow's going to be better, and I got to do something today that my future self is going to thank me for doing. So
Yeah.
focus on those positive things, and if you really if you really want to engage with the negative people, nobody can stop you, but I'm going to tell you, it's not worth your time probably 90% of the time.
Yes, there's always going to be the negative people. One thing that just to note on the positive side of it too is that there's a marketing strategy as well that comes with Made for Rockford, where it is
Mhm.
amplifying positive stories to the national level. And so that is something that we're working on right now, is working with different marketing companies to promote Rockford at that national level. So the positive stories, like the hottest housing market that we were just named, hits CNN, hits Fox News,
Mhm.
because there are good things that are happening here. One thing that we did too, and you may have seen some of the billboards that were out. So if people came to the area during the holidays, we had billboards up saying like, "Hey, you don't have to leave. You can unpack for the last time. You don't have to go. You don't have to say bye to your grandma." So we
Yeah.
had kind of strategic marketing, and then they may have seen those ads on their cell phone, and they might still be seeing those ads. Just kind of encouraging them to come back. We want that. Matt's sister lives in Elgin. I heard that right away. We need her to come back too. So
Come on back, not just for a
yes,
visit.
yeah.
This is a
You're
great
looking
place
at
to live.
pictures of the mixer too. That was at Embassy Suites just a week ago.
Yeah, this is such a fun thing and such a great idea. And like I said, anytime you step out of and say and do stuff, you're always going to have the detractors and the haters and the people that just they
Yes,
just want to make noise. They just want to hear themselves talk. Just let them people alone. Let them
I know.
alone, and say a little prayer for them. Hopefully they'll come around and say, okay, because who is it and why is it that somebody wants to spend their time and effort to bring other people down? Why?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Why? So
yeah.
yeah, focus on these positive things. Like, look at
And
this.
and there's
Yeah,
so many positive things. Like, I say Food Truck Tuesday. That's like just being out on the bike path, really like using our river to do things during the week. There's just like a million things here where part of my job, and it really was my job too when I worked for the news, is to again amplify the good news. I mean, all the news at that time, but the Go Rockford website. We have people who work on that every single day to make sure that events are that you know about, and Paleo Fest happening, this weekend. Lee Bryce was at Coronado. Who do we just have at
Jerry Seinfeld
Hard
was just
Rock?
here.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Seinfeld was here. So it's, we have so many things going on that part of my job is, like you say, you have to know about them to enjoy them. And so I'm trying to do that with the new people, but I think I still need to do that with the people who already live here and have been here for
Exactly.
decades.
Exactly. So there's a lot of opportunities to plug into. Made for Rockford. If you're looking for a resource to share with friends and family that don't yet live here, and they would enjoy living here, I always tell the story, Whitney, about when my wife and I were both in a position where we were thinking about making moves,
Yes.
and we did a cost of living analysis. We looked around. We had opportunities. There were three main opportunities. All right, one was in Virginia, one was in Southern California, and the other one was in Nome, Alaska. Guess where the cost of living is way better than those other three places I just mentioned. We would have had to make well over twice as much money living in any of those other places
Mm-hmm.
than we were experiencing our lifestyle here. And ultimately we're so glad we stayed, mainly because, I mean, not just the cost of living, but because of family connections and everything else. But we really
But
gave it some serious consideration.
But all of your connections, and you have to, no matter where you are, you have to make it at home. And you guys are involved in so much. You're amplifying nonprofits, the Ski Bronx. I mean, it's you and your whole family. You know what I mean? So it's making wherever you land home. And if you're just clocking
Right.
in and clocking out, you're not going to want to stay here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there another mixer in the works?
Yes.
What's next for Made for Rockford?
All right, next mixer's July. It's at Anderson Gardens. It's going to be on one of the Tuesday nights where they have music. So it's great. And that is something I will say. There's one person in my department, right? It's just me, but it is a whole village to get people to come here. And that is my favorite part. So Anderson is, giving us the space to come in and do this. We also, if I give a tour, right, I'll call Coronado and somebody will be at the door to greet these applicants, show them, and every single person who I encounter is excited to show somebody new what they have in their facility. Or Discovery Center, Meredith is just the joy on her face when she's showing people stuff. So lots of stuff like that. Please go to the Made for Rockford Facebook page and you can see all the events. And if you are, living here right now, help me welcome these people as they're coming in. There'll be lots of opportunities for that.
Well, we would love to partner with you in any way, shape, or form that you see fit.
Thank you.
Some of our things that are coming up here soon for In Crowd 815, our April networking group is going to meet at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum.
Oh, okay.
How many people in Rockford have never been to our founding house of Rockford? Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum is something special. The last Thursday of April, we're going to be there for our In Crowd 815 networking group. And our networking group, honestly, it's a totally free thing. The price of admission is a business card and a smile. That's what
Love it.
Business
Yeah.
card.
All right, Greg, I'll make you a promise. I will be there, provided I don't have a trivia event. I will be there.
I know you. And then we're also setting up a special tour of the new Rockford Public Library. So we're going to be doing a special tour of that, and it's not in stone yet, but I think it's in May. We'll be promoting that and tagging everybody on that on the social media when we get that going together. But
awesome.
Most people in Rockford know that the new library was built, and they know that there's a new building and it's bright and shiny and new and beautiful there. But what a lot of people don't know is just the number of resources that are in there besides the books.
Oh, it's a podcast room.
There's a podcast room. There's a banquet room. There's a place to do yoga and Pilates and these multi-tiered patio things. It's really going to be something special. So we want to make sure our quote unquote members know about it. And so, everyone will be invited to that too when we make that open. So, this is what it's all about, Whitney. This is,
thank you guys for having me.
Of Rockford. Now you're a one-woman show right now. So, and is there an opportunity for anyone to plug into what you're doing and be any like volunteer help that you might need to help put on more events and such?
Yes, I didn't mention our Go team. So we have a Go team of 40 people, a little bit more than that. So when people are new to the community, I could look at it and say, oh, Greg's into ski broncs and someone's into skiing. I could pair that new person with a member of the Go team. It's that first friend in Rockford. And so I have just a host of people who I'm able to do that with. They come to events, they help. So if someone's interested in that, please let me know. You really, there's a fit for anybody. So please let me know. There's the Go team right there. They also have their bios and stuff. It's on the right side if you click, but it'll be hard to find right now, but I can get you a link. But yeah, great team. These are people who love Rockford, who know Rockford. Do you see Mike Garrigan up there? Not the best picture of him. I apologize, Mike.
Well, it was an action shot, so
couldn't get everybody to look.
It's forgiven when it's an action shot.
Yes. So
that's awesome.
But lots of different opportunities, easy to find. You can message me, of course, on the Facebook page or on anywhere on Facebook, or get you my email too.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've definitely kept you way longer than we were anticipating.
I appreciate it. I'm sure my son's room is a disaster right now. You guys don't know this. He was down here with a Nerf gun about 20 minutes ago.
And he didn't hit you?
Yeah, no bullets were in there. So thank God, because it did go off.
You got lucky.
He's probably in a sugar coma right now.
Guys. In the Home Alone house over here right now.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be obviously you're going to be one of our celebrity judges for our April 17th event. Thank you for volunteering to do that. And we'll if you have any more hot leads to organizations that want to participate, as of today, there are 6 openings. 3 of them are spoken for but not paid for yet. So until they're paid for, they're not. Come here, so
yeah. Awesome. Sorry, I can hear him calling me right now. Okay. I will definitely spread the word. It was an amazing event, and thank you for having me back. Come here, Sawyer. Sawyer would like to say goodbye here as well. Could say bye.
Sawyer, buddy.
I'll be camera shy. Come on.
Are you still racing bikes?
Greg will send you a Kit Kat if you're good.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having both of us. You just didn't know how much of a role he played in this today.
Are you still racing bikes, Sawyer? BMX? He's a BMX dude, right?
Yeah.
I got
Awesome.
my
But I'm gonna go
youngest. I got my youngest too. So
Yes.
yeah.
You guys,
All
thank
right.
you
Guys,
for
he's
having
got
me. I better
wings.
go be a mom here. So.
All right. Dr. Cyrus, my wife is one of those who actually loves going to the dentist. I like getting my teeth cleaned. I like the feeling after the dentist. I'm not the biggest a fan of actually sitting in the dentist chair and getting the work done, but I'd sure like the results. And Dr. Cyrus Oates is on with us with our friend Tiffany Miller over at the Elements and Ink Media. Welcome back, Tiffany, and welcome to the show, Dr. Oates.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great to have you all here. And before we get into all things 205 DDS, let's learn about you, Dr. Oates. Let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about where did you grow up and go to school? Let's start with that.
Oh, wow. Let's see. I'm a product of the South Side of Chicago. I attended University of Illinois Chicago Circle campus, which is now known as UI, University of Illinois, but in Chicago. Attended their undergrad, left U of I, and went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., where I received my dental degree, and returned back to Chicago, started working in a small practice for a couple of years, had an opportunity to come to Rockford. Came to Rockford in 1981 when unemployment was the highest in the nation. Started a practice with probably the only dentist in Rockford that started a practice with one chair and no patients. Been here since 1981, and it's been wonderful ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Chicago high schools,
Chicago High School, South Shore Tar, 76 and Constance.
What was your mascot at school?
Tars.
The Tars.
The Pirates, which is a tar.
Oh, I didn't know that. Tom, did you know that?
I did not.
That's a new one to me. Well, pirates are scary enough, so I fear the pirates. Did you have a good football team or basketball team?
No.
No.
No. No and no.
No.
When I was in high school, if you were 6'2", 6'1", you were a big center.
Right.
You were like,
now they're all guards.
Now if you can't slam, you can't even make the team.
Wow.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, we're sure glad you made yourself to Rockford, and that's was there anything specific other than the job that brought you to Rockford?
I was recruited.
Okay.
There was a gentleman who has passed away a couple of years ago, Dr. Herbert Jackson, and he asked me to say, he talked to me and said, hey, why don't you come out to Rockford? Rockford has the second largest population in Illinois, no African American dentists. And I was like, how can the second largest population in Illinois not? I went from Chicago. I went to Howard. I was like, that's strange.
Yeah.
Came out, met some good folks, and they convinced me to come on out, and we shared. My cousin and I shared a practice. We split between Chicago and Rockford. After about 6 months, he decided that he didn't want to come back to make the commute, and I said, okay, you can keep the patients in Chicago. I'll take the patients that we've started, and we'll call it even. And that's how I got started.
Nice. That's awesome. So you're at the point now where you're getting involved in this, I'm assuming you're founding this thing, this 205 DDS, not for profit.
Yeah.
What was the genesis of that? How did that come about?
So I used to subsidize my practice. I worked at Crusader Clinic. I've always tried to help the underserved. So I was allowed to join a program within the city. It's a school-based program. And basically, what you do is you go to different schools. I started with, I think I had 6, 7 schools. You go to schools, you bring your equipment, you do a cleaning, an exam, fluoride, sealants. The only 4 procedures that we were allowed to do. And then I started that about 20 years ago. And as one of the things that, that's a great portion on the preventive side. But here, the downside is once if I saw your child and you came in and I said, hey, Greg, I send you a note back, says your kid has 7, 8 cavities and you're on public aid, then you say, well, where can I go get them fixed?
Mhm.
And less than 5% of the dentists in Rockford take public aid for various reasons, in which we won't get into, but they do. I mean, so the idea was that I pitched an idea to the school district. I said, look, if you let me into the program, we'll see the kids. I'll devote a portion of my day to seeing public aid kids in my private practice. So any kid that I see in the schools, they can come to my private practice. Well, that eventually developed into, I'll just say, last school year, I saw 6,000 kids.
Whew.
3,500 of them needed work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So and there's another gentleman, Dr. Jason Grinner, who does the same thing. So currently we split District 205. So we have 27 schools apiece. So we go from early childhood development to high school. And the issue was on every Tuesday morning, these schools, what makes this program unique is not that just because we're seeing the students, is that 205 is providing the transportation. They're picking up the students, bringing them to our office, we do the services, they get back on the bus, and they go back to school. Okay, so in our profession, the reimbursement rate is low, but the major problem, one of the major other problems is that when we do public aid in our offices, 40 to 45% of the time the patient doesn't show for various reasons. Not everybody has a car, not everybody can get off work, whatever the reason may be. So this program has resolved that issue for children. So I only do pediatrics. So now we don't have to worry about patients not showing up because they're transported straight from school to our practice and then back to school.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure dealing with kids, I mean, it takes a special personality. It takes a special, dare I say, a little charisma to be able to work with kids who may or may really not want to be in a dental chair.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree with you. And to be honest, I really didn't, it wasn't one of my favorite things to do.
Sure.
But I've learned and they've learned, we have a good relationship. I've been blessed that there's some techniques, there's some adjuncts. We have nitrous oxide. We have a staff that's really caring. We have a staff that knows how to talk to children. Sometimes we have to play good cop, bad cop, but we get it done.
Well, I don't know. You probably learned this too. I as a realtor working with the public, and then what I've learned is the majority of people just want to know what to expect. So if you can set a proper expectation, hey, young Johnny, I'm going to be looking at your mouth, and you're going to feel, you're going to feel a little prick here, a little prick there, and if it gets too uncomfortable, raise your hand or whatever, just give me a little grunt, and I'll back off, give you a catch your breath. But I do need to poke around and find out what's going on with these teeth over here. Johnny's going to be like, all right, I'm not, you just told me I'm not going to really enjoy this, but I know it's not going to last forever.
So, if you need another side job, I can use some help. It seems like you got this down.
I'm just totally guess. I just know what I've learned dealing with the public, especially in the real estate side of things, because obviously buying a house is a major purchase, and it's like, this is a big decision. Yep, you're right. It's a big decision, so we're not going to rush into it fast. We're going to take things a little slow. We're going to make sure we're looking at everything we possibly can look at before we can go forward. So same thing with someone poking around inside your mouth. It's not going to be pleasant.
Oh, it's not. Plus we had the adjunct of nitrous oxide. Kids love it. And we don't use it on the adults. We just use it on the kids. I've learned the secret for me is that you treat children like adults and adults like children, and you'll be fine.
That's totally true. That is totally true. Just put everybody on a more equal playing field. Just understand, you know what? Even your 4 and 5 and 6-year-old, if you talk to them like an adult, they raise up their level of attitude. They raise up their level of expectation and what they think they can or can't do. So that's awesome. Well, Tiffany, you have brought us a couple of great guests now here over the last few months. Thanks for bringing us to Tommy Coral.
I'm just here to assist at all times, I guess now, Greg. Yeah.
For those who haven't met you yet, who didn't see our first show with you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I grew up in Joliet, Illinois, and then moved here after the 1990 tornado and am now in Rockford, but I grew up in Belvedere. I was also a pirate, Cyrus. I was a Belvedere Buck.
We click so well.
Belvedere Buck.
I was a Belvedere Buck, graduated in 2006, went through corporate life, decided it wasn't for me, decided to start my own business because I knew I wanted to help everybody with the skill set that I have. And now here I am today because life is funny and bringing you to the people that you need to get to. And Cyrus and I actually met at Victory Pickleball, where I was featuring him as Member of the Month. And then when he found out everything I do, he was like, actually, I could really use your help on some stuff for a nonprofit I'm starting called 205 DDS. We talked and his passion was so infectious that I was like, I want to be a part of this.
Nice.
And that was a mere 3 months ago. And we have accomplished a lot in a very short period of time.
Well, which one of you is going to be the one to kind of summarize, put in a nutshell, what 205 DDS's big, hairy, audacious goal is? Because you've got a big goal and I'm impressed by it. And I'm curious how you hope to accomplish it. What is the goal?
The goal.
Yeah.
The goal is, as I said previously, seeing the amount of kids that we see in a limited time, there's just more patients than we can handle. So the goal is there was an opportunity brought up by RPS 205, Rockford Public School District, that said, we are, as we talked about getting more services to students, they said, we're getting ready to open up the Stenstrom Center, which is out by Jefferson High School. Mm-hmm. Well, the Stenstrom Center is about 130,000 foot square building. It used to house the Rock Valley Hygiene Program, the dental hygiene program. And then Rock Valley moved that program to their campus. Well, what they left behind is 14 operatories for dentistry, which they use for teaching. Now, they did take the chairs, they did take the x-ray equipment, they did take the hand pieces and things like that. But the guts of the program the program is still there. All the cabinetry, the plumbing, the architectural flow, all of that is there. So we went to the school district and said, how about we make a true public-private partnership that if you allow us to use the Stenstrom Center, you continue to provide transportation, you continue to let us use your support staff. We will, on the other side of the equation, we will raise the money, buy the dental equipment, find the dentist, find the support personnel, and we will have this clinic open 5 days a week through the school year and hopefully through the summer. And the school district will continue to bring students back and forth from school to the Stenstrom Center. That is the goal. That's the dream. That's the project.
So they have obviously the means of the buses and such to bring people from all the different. Is it mostly high school students you're seeing, or is it also middle school?
We're seeing from pre-K to high school.
Ooh, that's a lot of schools, man.
It is a lot of schools.
And he's been doing this for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years, Greg. So he has a whole mobile dental unit. I was working with him on this last week, where I was following him around so I could get video footage and put together a video of the whole process of things. They have a room at Oates Dental where they have all of their mobile equipment ready to go, and they have to load it all up in the trailer, deliver it to the school, unload everything, and then the next morning the dental hygienists and assistants come in earlier to get their spaces set up exactly how they like it. So when those kids start coming through, because they're seeing kids, I think a kid, they told me 20 minutes per kid is pretty much what they have it capped out at. So that means they're coming through, they're getting checked in, they're getting their initial overview and determining at that moment if they're going to have to go further and either go to Oates Dental or Park City to get more intense dentistry done at that point. But then each lady goes through the process of oral hygiene and telling the kids what to expect. And many of these kids already have relationships with these women and have seen them years prior. So they're so well adjusted to getting their dental cleanings at school that it's just kind of part of the norm for them. And they come in with smiles on their faces, happy to see the ladies, and they're getting a crisp high five on the way out with a brand new toothbrush, and they're on their way. Like, it is almost a flawless system that they have at this point, except for the fact that they're having a hard time having a location to put all these places. So they're looking for a home base at this point. There you can see some of these beautiful ladies right there, all the beautiful dental assistants and hygienists. But visiting the website is the most important thing you can do, because we have laid it out pretty clear cut so everybody can see what 205 DDS has to offer and what the goal is in the future, and when, which I'm not going to steal that moment from Cyrus, when it's going to come to fruition.
Gonna happen. and I thought I saw something about a goal for September. If I saw that right,
Yes.
What's the goal?
That is the goal, and September is not far away.
No. And so you've determined what, I guess, your dollar amount needed to actually make this a reality.
Yes. So there's just as in any major project, there's a dollar amount associated with it, and that amount includes both capital and operational. We're probably looking as a total package of close to $1 million.
And that's it sounds like a lot. Anyone who ever says $1 million, it sounds like a lot of money. But then you start to actually look at the numbers and the number of students you have seen just this year. Just this year. Forget the 19 years prior. Just this year, the number of students you've seen is amazing.
So here's the thing. In our district, and probably through a lot of districts, the number 2 chronic reason for student absenteeism is dental, only second to asthma. It's hard to concentrate in school when you have toothache, abscess, broken off teeth in the front. The mental aspect of that, the social. Sometimes kids can be cruel.
Oh yeah.
It's
the confidence levels, the ability for them to be able to even focus in class. Can you imagine walking around where your teeth are rotten out, or you don't even have some of your teeth, or your child doesn't, and they're keeping their mouths closed no matter where they go? How devastating that could be.
Yeah.
Kids are cruel. We all know how bullying works, and that should not be one of the reasons that they're being bullied. I mean, there should be no bullying at all if I had it my way, but I can't go in there and vendetta everybody. So
something easily preventable like this,
And that's the thing. This chronic disease is 100% preventable.
Yeah. I know you have to see students quickly, and you have to see a lot of students. Do you get a chance to kind of let them know, hey, especially when it comes to like tooth decay, hey, probably a big reason why this is happening to you is you might be eating too much sugar, you might be eating too much candy, you might be whatever that might be. Do you get a chance to kind of coach them into better habits for eating?
Our assistants do have an opportunity to do that, especially in some of the more extreme cases. But once again, to be honest, we're turning a chair 20 minutes from start to finish. to see 100 kids a day. They're talking while they're working, and that's the amount that we get. And here's the other thing: once we get this project done at the Stenstrom Center, we hope to partner with Rock Valley. They have a hygiene program while those students are waiting for their turn. We can have hygienists that or students to be able to talk to them while they're waiting, so we can maximize the time that they're actually in our facility, even if they're not in the chair.
Yeah. Well, this is like I said, it's a big, hairy, audacious goal. I love the BHAGs. Someone turned me on to the idea of a BHAG years ago, and your life gets a little more exciting when you have a BHAG in your. Does that sound bad? I hope I'm.
It sounds weird.
It sounds weird.
It sounds weird.
Some motivational speaker, 30 years ago, put this in my brain, and it's always stuck. What's the next big, hairy, audacious goal that might scare you a little bit because it seems like it's impossible. When you have one, it gets you up in the morning, doesn't it?
It does. But I'll tell you this: we have an opportunity here that no one in the state has. What we have currently, no one in the state has a relationship with a school district that is bringing kids from school to a clinic and back. No one has that. And it's probably, and I will go out on a limb and probably say no one in the nation has this. This is going to be life-changing project. I believe, this is just me, I believe once this gets out, once we become successful in this venture, people are going to come and say, hey, show us how to do that. That makes so much sense. It doesn't, other than us raising the money for the facility, it's not the public aid payment. It's not, we're not getting paid any more money. It's the money that's already being paid. So let's get this and utilize what we already have in a better way.
Yeah. We've already got this set up now with high school students meeting certain parameters can get their college for free if they graduate from Rockford Public School high schools. That's a great goal right there. To get them to that point, though, a lot of these students are needing some help with their teeth, and if 205 DDS can help in that, that's an awesome thing.
Greg, I'm glad you said that, because not only as I don't think of everything. I'm really glad that I have Tiffany working with us. But one of my colleagues said, well, you're going to have those students in, it's a school setting. It's the college career and educational center. How about while they're there, how about running some programs where on the medical side, on the dental side, that says, hey, this is what a dentist does. This is what the hygienist does. This is what it requires. This is what the dental assistant does. This is what the office manager does. This is why you need communication skills if you're going to be a receptionist. It all starts somewhere. Yeah. And a lot of these students have never seen that.
Yeah. This is an eye-opening event for them, and more than just their own personal teeth situation. This is an opportunity to open up career eyes, which is so special. This is really cool. The link again is in the chat, so you can go right directly to this webpage and learn how to donate, learn how to get involved. Is there anything else? You have any events coming up or anything like that you want to make sure that we promote today to let people know about?
Well, I'll let Tiffany handle that because she's in charge of those kinds of things.
No, at this time, we don't have any events that we are releasing publicly because we have so many things in the work on the back end. Yes, we are planning and we are trying to finalize, and we're going to have some coming up in the near future, which we're happy to share also with you. If you ever want to slot it in on one of your morning shows, you can talk about it momentarily. But at this time, the most important thing we can do is share all of the information that we have. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram, visit our website. If you feel so inclined by the mission to donate, we of course are always accepting donations with open arms, but share the message and especially share the video that gives an overview of everything that we have going on so we can answer everybody's questions. And if you have any questions, message us. There's a lot of people affected here, and we know that we haven't even scraped the surface on touching the information so that the families that are even having their kids seen right now probably aren't aware that we're having all of this go live and that there's going to be a change in the near future, God willing.
Nice. Well, like I said, we got the links in the chat, so you can go right to this website and check it all out. It's a worthy cause, making a difference. Smiles are not only contagious, they're going to help these kids have an overall just a better quality of life, and that's exciting right there. So kudos to all these folks who are putting this together. I see you got Arliss Hendershot on your team too. You got a dynamo in Tiffany, and between Tiffany and Arliss, you should own this city before too long. So way to go.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Greg.
That's awesome. This is awesome. So
hey, I know how to pick a team.
You do. Well, before we get to Tom's trivia for this week, is there anything we did not ask you about that you want to make sure we touch on before we move on?
I think we covered it all.
At this point, Cyrus is so used to doing this that he is just like an autopilot every single day because I keep setting him up with people. Yeah, he has meetings back to back every day saying probably the same things. He's tired.
Yeah.
He's tired.
I tell you what, buddy, you got to get good at press and repeat. Just hit repeat because you know what, the message, once you got the message down, you just hit repeat. I don't know how many times and how many groups I've spoken to and said, hey, InCrowd 815 podcast, we focus on Rockford area not-for-profits and the businesses that support them. And we want to make sure that we get your message out too. So whoever your not-for-profit leader is, please connect us with them. We want to talk to them on this podcast. I'll throw this out to you guys too, just so you're aware. Our next big event is our Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest coming up April 17th. And the winner of this contest in October won $1,000 for their not-for-profit. That happened to be the Rockford Rescue Mission. The winner of our April contest is going to win $2,000 for their chosen not-for-profit. And we have 12 openings for teams at this event. 6 of them are already signed up and spoken for and paid for. So we still have 6 available tables of teams to play in this event. And whenever I talk about it, people go, oh my gosh, do I have to sing? I said, no, you're forming a team of 8 people. At least one of those 8 has to like doing karaoke. The other 7 just needs to be smart because it's trivia. And Tom's going to give us some hints about trivia right here in a minute. If you want to play, it's only $320 to sponsor a team. You can get a business to sponsor that for you. And that $320 gets you 16 seats at the event. 8 of those are the players at your table. And 8 of those are in the audience cheering you on, especially during the karaoke round, because you're going to want some audience members cheering you on to convince the judges you were good, even if maybe you weren't. So April 17th, Hilton Garden Inn is the place for that. Tom's got some trivia for us. Let's do this. All right, Tom, put us to the test.
All righty, here we go. Okay, so this past week was Valentine's Day, so some of the questions are going to have a bit of a Valentine feel to it. So,
oh boy,
no, it's okay. Here's what I tell everybody every single week: these questions are not designed to make you feel bad, feel stupid, feel like I'm not very good. I only got 1 right. Most everybody gets 5 or 6 right. We do 7 questions, 6, and then kind of like a tiebreaker type thing. But we've gone to 7 just because I wanted to throw that extra one in just in case, and it's usually pretty easy. As long as you're paying attention in life, you're going to get it. Okay.
Unlike the competition, he actually gives us hints here sometimes if we need them. So
I do.
You won't be getting those at the contest.
No, you won't be. Because the questions themselves. Look, you got 8 people on your team at the contest. So if you need a hint, well, you may want to get different players for your team. There's always going to be somebody that knows something.
All right. Here's hoping.
All right. Here we go. Which country, this is a Valentine's one, which country has the tradition in which women give men chocolate on Valentine's Day? I'm going to give you 50-50 here. Is it Australia or is it Japan? Once again, which country has the tradition where women give men chocolate on Valentine's Day? Is that Australia or is that Japan? By the way, it's my kind of country, whatever it is.
I know. I was just gonna say
Man.
my woman must
it feels like a Japan thing to me,
Yeah.
not Australia.
That's interesting. You're both correct.
Woohoo!
Very good. Very
All right.
good. By the way, Greg, you can send that Valentine candy you just had to my address. You know where I live. All right. All right. That's nicely done. Here's a song one. Here we
Song.
go. Here we go. What tune has Billboard magazine named the top love song of all time? Is it Endless Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross, or We Found Love by Rihanna and Calvin Harris?
Oh God.
I was gonna say Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers, but oh well.
Oh, what a
re-
great song that is.
I'm really scared to think that it's Rihanna, but like my gut's telling me that it is.
All right,
think-
I'll read it one more time just for, just because I always do. What tune has Billboard magazine named the top love song of all time? Endless Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross, or We Found Love by Rihanna and Calvin Harris?
Lionel
All
Richie
right.
and Diana Ross.
It's gotta be Lionel
I
Richie.
hope it's Lionel Richie. Like I really hope it's Lionel Richie, but like my gut's telling me it's Endless Love.
Gregors, you're the tiebreaker. What are you choosing?
Please be Endless Love, please.
It is Endless Love.
Oh, okay, good.
Endless Love. You're 2-0, folks.
Okay, good.
2-0.
Such
There
a
you go.
heartfelt song. So
That
beautiful.
it was a great song, and it was kind of funny. I played that at trivia the other night because one of the guys, it was Marcus, he was just messing with me. He goes, I want to hear that song. So I played it for him, and everybody's giving him crap. He didn't really want to hear the song. He was just giving me crap. So I exploded it halfway through, and the whole place went, yeah, baby.
Bum, 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 ba-da-dum.
My
Bum, bum,
endless
bum.
love.
They have a whole riff there where you can sing along without knowing words. You didn't need to know words. You just hummed it along. It was great. It's a great song.
I love Lionel
All right.
Richie. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. This celebration, it's called Galentine's Day. It was an alternative to Valentine's Day. It was started as a result of what sitcom? And this is where I will give you a hint if you need it. The celebration called Galentine's Day was started as a result of this sitcom. It was on NBC. And
Friends.
it starred, I'm going to give you a hint. It starred
I would.
Amy Poehler.
Oh no! So it's not
I'm not
Friends.
a big TV
My
person.
first thought was Friends.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Yes, I won't let you go any further because you got it. Nicely done. Nicely done. See, this is teamwork.
All
Teamwork makes the
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks.
yeah, absolutely. That was
All right.
not a question, by the way. You did get it right, but that was not one of the questions. All right, here we go. Was that number 3? Yeah. Here we go. I'm all over the place here. Oh yeah, I am. Aren't I? All right, here we go. Tim Berners-Lee is widely recognized as the inventor of what?
Tim who?
Tim Berners-Lee is
Hmm.
widely recognized as the inventor of what?
TBL, Tim Berners-Lee. Oh my goodness.
And I will say it has absolutely zero to do with his name.
Okay.
I got
That's
nothing then.
Tim Berners-Lee.
Heart
The
shaped candy.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
No, you guys are way off, so I'm going to give you a hint. Without
All right.
it, we would not be able to do this podcast.
Ooh.
Okay, so something to do with audio.
So he's Al Gore. He invented the internet.
Yes. Yes. And I don't consider that a non-qualifier hint. That was very good. Greg. Very good.
I want to get, you know what? Why, since you brought it up, I'm going to give a little quick shout out. We switched our internet provider this week, and so far I am so thrilled. I am so thrilled that we did. I don't know how we got fiber optic internet in our neighborhood before some other neighborhoods did, because I'm way out in New Milford, but we got it as an option in the late last year, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds good and all. We went ahead and gave it a try this week and noticed the difference just like that.
Well, it's because
Oh,
you're Greg
nice.
Saunders. I read the transcript. In the meeting, they said, no, Greg Saunders lives out in New Milford. We are getting him fiber optics. He's an important part of his show. And that guy he has with him,
Put in a good word for me, Greg, because I want to upgrade too.
Yeah, and as you may
if
have
you-
noticed, I kind of dipped out for a little bit there. My
Yeah.
You
grandkids are
did.
here, and they're watching Bluey or whatever. And
If fiber optic becomes available in your neighborhood, I highly recommend hooking up because you will notice the difference. And at least for the first year, it's going to be cheaper than it was the other service was here. So
I
I'm
had fiber. I thought everybody had fiber optics. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. You
It's-
got knocked out by Bluey, Tom. So
I got knocked
probably
out by
not.
Bluey. That's
Yeah.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. This guy is. I could ask this two different ways. I'm just going to go easy with it. This guy was credited with discovering penicillin.
Okay, now I'm thinking of Balto.
well,
I got to
Isn't
bring it
that the
back.
dog.
Yeah, but
Louis
that's the whole purpose of the journey.
Louis
Oh.
Pasteur, was that penicillin or was that something else?
Milk, pasteurized milk.
Pasteurized milk, yeah, but I thought there was a connection to
Dr. Oates, you're the closest to medical. You should know this, obviously.
Yeah, I think I cut class that day.
Yeah.
Penicillin. Yeah, the other name that jumps into my head is Madame Curie, but that was radioactivity. It's
Radium. Yeah, she discovered radium and palladium
know
or
this.
something.
We're gonna need another hint, Tom.
Yeah.
drawing a
You're
blank.
gonna need. I got a hint. That you probably wouldn't get, and it's really, really bad. I don't want to do it.
Oh.
Well, now I have to know, so just give it to us.
All right, go ahead, drop it on us.
No, because his. No, that's too gross. I'm not.
How
doing
about
it.
initials?
AF. Initials AF.
Penicillin.
And it's not
Like-
Andy Franklin, just in case you were thinking.
Or Anne Frank.
Um,
I'm sorry, that was bad.
No, that's good. I like it.
Hey,
I'll give you the first name, but you're gonna deduct a half point here.
uh-huh.
Alexander. Here was the hint
It's
I was gonna give
Alexander
you.
Franklin.
No. Here was the hint I was gonna give you. It's a buildup in your throat.
Alexander Flem.
Oh, you're so close.
Alexander Flambell.
Fleming.
We're so off. I'm like putting together every name I ever learned in history.
this is early.
Oh my God, that's funny. Alexander Fleming.
Penicillin, Fleming, penicillin.
What I was
Fleming.
going to ask, the original way the question was worded was Alexander Fleming is credited with creating what sort of antibiotic?
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if that would have helped. I wanted to simplify it. I thought if I gave you penicillin, I'm surprised
No.
somebody said Dr.
No, you
Jonas.
should have done it the other way.
You definitely went
Okay.
the other way because I just put together like 3 different historians and used their names all in one.
There you go.
Oh, that's
Feel
funny.
out of it.
By the way, to which Al Capone said, "Dang it, it was too late." Okay, anyway. All right, here we go. One more, and then we got the final super
All right.
duper winner takes all for all the marbles. What do you call it? All right.
We actually don't win anything, Cyrus, so don't get excited.
Yeah, you don't win anything. You win a
Story of my life.
I do have
Chicago
a
Cubs
Knicks.
coffee mug. By
I
the
do
way,
have a Knicks wish bring joy wish list, but it's actually
No
Wait a
genie
minute, Tom,
provided.
I'm a South Sider. I'm a
got
South
my-
Sider, so that's got to be a White Sox.
Oh,
What's-
come on, dude. You're
Come
probably
on, I'm a
not a
South
Packer.
Sider Chicago.
You're probably not a Packer fan either, are you?
Wow.
Feast your eyes on the
And you're
shrine.
and you're absolutely right. But
Yeah.
I'm not a big Bear fan.
You know why Rockford doesn't have a professional football team? Because if they got one, then Chicago would want one too. So,
There we go.
Hey, thank you. I'm here all week too. All
I'm
right,
not
here we go.
offended.
Here we go.
Not a fan.
I don't know. I'm a Minnesota Viking fan, but that's
Ah, jeez. I was really starting to like you.
it's okay.
Man.
You can join the other multitudes of people.
Yeah. I outside of football, I like you. Okay, here we go. Mary Poppins' umbrella has the head of what type of bird on it?
It's a mallard, isn't it? Isn't it a duck?
I don't know. You do quack me up. though.
Can't-
No, it's not a duck. It's not a duck.
Can't recall the
not a-
last time I've seen it, so I'm just gonna say swan.
I go with Parrot.
What'd you say?
Parrot.
Ding,
Parrot?
ding, ding.
Take the
Yes,
parrot. All
it is a
right.
parrot.
Wow.
Ah, you got it right. Ah.
All right.
Cyrus just watched Mary Poppins before this call.
It's been a long time. My youngest is 30. It's been a long time since I've seen Mary Poppins.
Your youngest is how old?
30. My oldest is 50.
Okay. My oldest is 38. My youngest is 32. So, I'm right there with you. All right, here we go. Final question. Final question. As long as the Super Bowl was last week, last week, last Sunday.
Yep.
And what a boring game it was. Super Bowl 60 will be held where? This is where I said it pays if you're paying
I know
attention to
this.
the news cycle. All right, Gregors, let them answer first if you know it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Super Bowl 60 will be held where? I don't need the state. I need a little more definite than that. Well, the state will work, I guess.
inside.
No,
Inside.
No. Oh.
No, as a matter of fact, you will not be in a dome.
it is not a dome
Oh.
stadium.
Oh. Can I phone a friend?
You can phone a friend.
The team colors that play in that stadium are mostly red
And gold.
and gold. Yes.
Okay.
Well, now that's making me think
Now they
that I
got
already know, but I'm phoning my friend
NFC.
via text.
Yeah.
Arizona.
NFC team.
Arizona.
Nope.
When it was built, it was the most high-tech stadium in the NFL. It still kind of might be. I mean, it's
What
in
is
It's in Kansas City.
Nope.
It's in California then.
It's in
Yeah.
California. It's got
Okay.
numbers in their name.
It's San Francisco.
It is. It is
49ers.
Santa Clara, California. It's
Clara.
Levi Stadium where the
Got
49ers play.
Okay.
It's one of the, I think if I heard correctly, it's not the most seating. It might be one of the least amount of seats for a Super Bowl stadium, but
Man, what are those tickets going to go for?
I was just
Oh.
gonna say it's gonna be really expensive, so it's not gonna matter.
It's
But
crazy.
you know what?
and,
They
and
could go back to putting cardboard cutouts of everybody, and you could just pay $5,000 to get your cardboard cutout put in the seat, and then that solves the problem of space.
there we go.
there
we
you go.
It fits
Unless
so
it
many people in
rains,
there.
then you're in trouble.
They're gonna have their own Mary Poppin umbrellas. They'll be fine.
That's right.
right. That's right.
That's right.
Awesome.
So-
Well,
All right. Well, nice job, everybody. Nice job.
Thank
we
you.
we did better than 50%, so we'll take that. We'll take that. Again, check out the website. The links are in the chat. 205 DDS doing some good work here in Rockford for our Rockford school students. And we wish you the best. We hope to have you back on again, especially as you get closer and closer to the goal of getting this thing put together. And hopefully there's a big ribbon cutting or something in September.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have a big part.
We'll keep you guys updated.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll keep in touch.
All right. Thanks for
All right,
having me.
thanks, guys.